Hey y'all, long time no see. I just want to do a quick tour of the garden at the end of winter, including my little curtains I have out here. These are shower curtains, but anyway, the wind has been blowing them down, so I have to fix that. So this first round bed, this is where my potatoes are supposed to go. I had that setback with my soil, so I'm kind of waiting to get that together. That's just a pot that I have over there. I need to move that. The pansies are doing well. So I've had these for a few months now, I think. The small black and turquoise container in the corner are just from last year. I'm going to empty those out. I'm mixing up some new soil here for new seedlings. I've been using cocoa coir and let it expand in this bin. Alright, so I'm going to start over here at the greenhouse. So the little flower thing, flower hanging thing, I'm getting rid of that. I don't like those anymore. I have some plastic ones somewhere. I had bunching onions in this first container, but now it looks like weeds are taking over. Over here, I planted some lavender a long time ago, and it took it like months to come up. But just a lesson in being patient. Sometimes it takes a few days, but sometimes it takes weeks for your seeds to sprout. So don't give up. All right, so this is where all those little baby snakes were. My dogs keep jumping in here, digging around in this dirt. I decided I'm gonna put this soil in my potato bed. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I think I only want one raised bed in here. I still have my blueberries and my lemon tree in here, but I decided I want to remove this and put just the 17-gallon containers, and I could fit about 10 in here. I think that would be a better option for me to have the containers than these huge having two raised beds in the greenhouse. So that's something we'll be working on this year. And all right, there's the oregano I planted from seed, still doing well, survived the winter. And these are my new seedlings I planted over the last 1 to 2 weeks. These black cups I did within the last week, and the larger white cups I did, I think, the week before last. So just waiting for all this stuff to come up. I'm going to move these because yesterday was our last day in the 80s. So it looks like we're going to be in the 60s and maybe 70s until May, at least May. All right, so yeah, I have a lot of containers. I don't need to buy any more containers except for the 17-gallon ones to fill the greenhouse. Otherwise, I have plenty of space for everything. The strawberries are bouncing back, it looked like, but they're doing much better in the raised bed. That's why I wanted to put them in a raised bed, and eventually this bed is going to be entirely strawberries. For now, I do have the kale still in there and the cilantro. So there's a chamomile, and these are some new seeds I planted. So cucumbers, I planted these a while ago, maybe a month ago, or within the last month. And the peppers haven't come up, so the jalapeno hasn't come up and the bell pepper hasn't come up. But the cucumbers have sprouted. That's the other strawberry. So this is another huge change I plan not get rid of, but to move all of my compost bins. And that's all these black bins, including the two trash cans and also this brown trash can. I'm going to put a 6x3 raised bed back here, and I plan to eventually move my lemon tree and my blueberry bushes back here. So here are my greens. This is the collards and the kohlrabi. I have some new sprouts coming up. These are collards. And we have about 8 more weeks of 60s and 70s, maybe a few days in the 80s. So I think these will continue to do well. These need to be split up, but yeah, these are doing really well. The kohlrabi, I haven't tried the kohlrabi yet. This will be my first time tasting them when I harvest them, and I think they are about ready. This one is about medium sized dough. This one next to it is a little bit smaller. But this one on the right is looks pretty big. I think it's about ready. I'm going to put my hand by so you can see a scale, like perspective, to see just how large this is. So it looks like a good size. So I'll probably harvest that this week. All right, so I'm calling this over here my grow bag station or area. And this is where I put that soil that had all the wood chips in it. And A few things have come up, but mostly, I mean, it's been like, oh, they're just being nosy. All right, so that looks like parsley. And I think I put cucumbers in these. I don't see anything in these two. I think I put okra in here. So that may be okra. I plan to have 2 okra this year. I think this was a cucumber. Not sure. And I think this also was some kind of a cucumber. And the stuff in the front, I have no idea. Maybe herbs. Especially considering that the one on the right is definitely parsley. I don't know what that is. Looks kind of like lavender. But yeah, I want to put peas or beans in here since they could probably survive in that environment better, or maybe just make the plants there better. All right, this is where I planted my garlic, and I had some herbs in the front, but parsley is the only thing that survived. And the garlic is sprouting, or has sprouted. It is growing, and I know that because I called myself removing the weeds because the straw has the grass growing out of it, and I was accidentally pulling up some garlic, so I stopped. So I'm gonna have to be more careful going through this, or just let it stay like this and just never use the straw again. Oh, these containers, I want to start using these again. I used these my first year of gardening as compost in place. I buried them in the raised beds, and I would put my food scraps in there, and the garden was just so rich. You know, I was constantly refilling it because the worms were constantly eating it. So I want to use these again. And the one with the red top is also the same thing. Spit it out. All right, I'm working on cleaning up this space. That's something I need to be doing over this next week. Also, while I figure out how I'm going to do everything and where I'm going to put things and what I'm going to grow, I still haven't worked all that out yet. All right, so the oregano is in this green pot. That was a store-bought oregano. And in here, I just planted some flowers yesterday, some cosmos and zinnias, and they're supposed to get 2 to 3 feet, so I think they'll be okay here. This is against my house, and that's on the west side, so it only gets AM sunlight, maybe till maybe 1, 2 p.m., but only 4 to 5 hours max, I think. All right, so this is a smaller greenhouse. I put the little cover on it because I want to use it as my grow station now. So my grapevine has come back. I thought it was dead, but now it's getting leaves, new leaves every day. I am going to move it to my front yard because grapes are poisonous to dogs, and I want to move it to a larger container. So I'm also using this little greenhouse to keep my soil dry because I was tired of having it out and it was constantly getting wet, and I didn't like dealing with it, especially the black cow. I don't like dealing with it when it's wet. So I want to move all my soil in here. This is the soil that has all the wood chips in it. I just got this soil right here. Oh, they're in my flower pots. Anyway, this top shelf is where I'm going to put my seedlings. And then I'm going to I've been doing a mixture of this garden soil and I mix it with some cocoa coir and then also perlite. And that's the mixture I've been using right now. And whenever I sift out all of these wood chips, I'll use the wood chips as mulch, and I'll use the soil, of course, as soil in the garden. But that's going to be a process. All right, this is my other strawberry bed, and I have these flowers that I wasted money on. Obviously, I never put these anywhere because I saw that they're poisonous to dogs. But since they're still growing, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the front yard for as long as they survive. These are the strawberries I planted from seed last year, and they came back, and they're going to be doing well. And I still have some of my Christmas decorations in here, so I need to do a lot of cleanup. I'm getting rid of all of the straw. So I think it's just attracting bugs, too. All right, so over here, this used to be the pepper bed, and I'm going to have it for, I'm not sure what yet, but not peppers. All right, I think this is cilantro. It's obviously something I planted because there are 3 bunches, and they're all the same, and also in here is the same, so I think that's parsley. So I'm just on the other side, so it looks like parsley. Well, it doesn't look like the other parsley I have, but I'm thinking that's what I planted. And then this, I don't know what that is. I don't remember what I put in here. And I planted this months ago, and something finally came up. So I'll just let it do what it do, or I'll put something else in there. So this is the oregano I planted from seed last year. It survived the winter. So I'm going to leave that in here, and let it keep doing what it do. Now these smaller plants I think are weeds, especially this one. It has a flower. I'm thinking that's probably a weed. So I'm going to clean this stuff out, and I'll put either some basil and or a tomato in here. I might put both. Now over in this corner I planted some more herbs. I'm doing the planter HGC indoor growing. Anyway, I put cilantro on top. Everything in here has sprouted. So the cilantro has sprouted. I have lavender has come up. I also have rosemary. And these bottom two, I don't know what they are, but one of them is mint. I'm thinking the very bottom is mint. Now I planted these maybe within the last 2 weeks. I need to keep better track of stuff, but I haven't been. Anyway, the blue bin I'm going to use for something. I don't know what. And this green container, I'm going to put something in there also. I don't know what I'm going to put in there. I'm going to clean it out, refresh it. And my bunchen onions have gone to seed. So I'm just waiting to collect these seeds because I want to put bunching onions everywhere. I think they're good to have, just good to have onions, and I think they're a good pest deterrent. All right, so these are the stuff I've planted outdoors so far. I am mixing up. I do have a new soil mixture. I'm gonna plant some more stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and move this back into the greenhouse because the temperatures are going. 80. We're in the 80s yesterday, but we're in the 60s today, and we're expected to be in the 60s for the next 60s or 70s for the next 6-7 weeks. So these top two shelves I want to put seedlings on. So, all right, so that was my final update for the winter garden, and everything. Everything's pretty much the same. I did put my greenhouse covers on, but I did add this little bridge that I put together by myself. But otherwise, I'm just waiting for everything to grow. Just dropping seeds and waiting for everything to grow. Very excited about this year. Looking forward to seeing what happens in my garden and looking to see what happens in everyone's garden. Thanks for watching.